crashing the goal for Melanson. That is his first in the National Hockey League.
Kenton shot, he scores! Berkeley Kenton has his first goal in the National Hockey League. Matty Beniers, right on the spot. Look out, Kenton with a shot, he scores! Hey, hey, what do you say? Berkeley Kenton.
It's been a week full of firsts, milestones, and big wins for the Kraken. The team is playing some of its best hockey right now, and the players will tell you it's because everybody's contributing, and that starts with solid goaltending. Welcome to kraken-home-ice. In this episode, we'll hear from Kaapo Kakko as he's finding his groove on the ice and prepares to represent Team Finland in the Winter Olympics. Head coach Lane Lambert shares what it's like to see players score their first NHL goal. And Berkeley Kenton and Jacob Melanson tell us about what it was like to finally get that coveted first goal.
The Kraken start their road trip Saturday night in Carolina, down 1-0 in the first. Matty Beniers ties it up for Seattle with his 9th goal of the season. It's 1-1 after 1. Rookie Berkeley Kenton caps off his big week with his 3rd NHL goal. He converts the turnover to give Seattle a 2-1 lead. Carolina, though, finishes strong to win it, scoring 2 straight goals. Jacob Slavin beats Joey Decord, who made 31 saves in the game as the Kraken lose 3-2. On Thursday, the Kraken wrapped up their homestand against the Wild. Minnesota gets 2 goals in the first period for a 2-0 lead, and it stays that way till the third, when Vince Dunn takes a shot, deflects off the goalpost, and Adam Larsson buries it. 6 minutes later, Seattle on a power play. Jared McCann takes the shot. This time it bounces off Jesper Wallstedt, and Matty Beniers follows through, sends it to the back of the net to tie it up at 2-2. This game goes to overtime. In the OT, the Wild get a 2-on-1, and Mats Zuccarello makes them pay. Kraken lose 3-2. On Tuesday, against the Bruins, Berkeley Kenton finally got his first NHL goal. He scores from a tough angle in the second period. Jared McCann sets him up, and Berkeley fires it off the arm of goalie Jeremy Swayman and in for a 2-1 Kraken lead. The Kraken score 2 more goals in the final 97 seconds of the second period. McCann beats the buzzer for a power play goal, crack it up 4-2. They make it 5-2 in the third. Freddie Gaudreau on the move. Nice pass to Kaapo Kakko, and he buries it. Kakko with 2 goals in the game. Gaudreau teams up with Kenton on the next one. Perfect pass, and the rookie roofs it. Kenton scores the first 2 goals of his NHL career as the Kraken win it 7-4.
A lot of weight off the shoulders for sure, but that's dreamed of that for a long time. Honestly, the first one I kind of blacked out there. I don't remember. I don't even know where it went in, to be honest. So then the second one, great pass by Freddie, and kind of gave me a breakaway and just got it up and went in.
He's been working really hard. We were due. It was just keep plugging away. I'm really happy for him.
On Monday in Calgary, the Kraken trailed 1-0 in the second. Ryan Winterton gets the puck, takes the shot, misses, but follows up to set up Jacob Melanson, and he knocks it in to tie it up. Early in the third, Ben Myers with a perfect setup to Shane Wright, and he buries it on his birthday for a 2-1 lead. A few minutes later, Kaapo Kakko working with Vince Dunn. Another great pass here, and Dunn snaps it home to put the Kraken up 3-1. Freddie Gaudreau adds an empty netter, and just 5 seconds later, with Dustin Wolf back in goal for Calgary, Matty Beniers slips one past him as the Kraken win it 5-1. It was another excellent night for goalie Philip Grubauer. He set a career high with 41 saves. Big praise all around for Gruby.
I mean, he's unbelievable. Just feels so steady with him back there, and he's so calm back there making saves, and bailing us out with make a bad play or give him a good chance, and he's just been playing unbelievable for us.
And that goal from Melanson was a big one. 11 games and 3 assists later, the forward finally got his first NHL goal.
That's something you dream of as a kid. I mean, like I said before, playing the NHL game is cool, but getting that first goal is unreal, and it's cool that it came from Wins, so it means a lot.
Great news today, boys. We officially have an Olympian in here. One of the greatest honors in sports. Oscar will be representing Denmark in Milan. So congrats, buddy.
Well, guess I couldn't do this without you guys, so I appreciate everything you do for me. So, yeah.
The Kraken officially have 4 players heading to the Milan Cortina Winter Olympics. Oscar Fisker-Molgaard has been named to Team Denmark. The forward has been with both the Kraken and Coachella Valley Firebirds this season. The 20-year-old previously represented his country during the IIHF World Championships and World Junior Championship.
It's been a season of perseverance and payoff for Kraken forward Kaapo Kakko. He's earned a ticket to his very first Olympic Games, representing Team Finland. Chris Egan talked to Kakko about what it's like to represent his country and play on the biggest stage.
All the way across, what a goal! Freddie Gaudreau sets up Kakko!
After a slow start to the season due to injuries, Kraken forward Kaapo Kakko has turned it on lately and earned a spot back on the first line. He's also earned a spot on Finland's Olympic team.
Yeah, it's a big thing. First time, to make it, because last time there was no NHL players, so yeah, excited. I think obviously one of my goals for this season. I think all the players over here want to play for those games, best against the best, so super excited.
And representing Finland is always extra special for Kaapo.
Yeah, it's always an honor, like you want to be there, especially for these games. I mean, I've been there for World Championship games, under 20, under 18. Doesn't matter what's the tournament, you always want to be there, but obviously like this thing happens only once in 4 years, so this is something you want to be part of.
Finland won the gold medal in 2022, and while Canada and Team USA have loaded up their rosters with NHL All-Stars, expectations are also high for the Finnish team. Kaapo says it won't take Finland long to gel, considering most of the roster grew up playing with each other.
I would say it's different for us than Canada or USA guys. Like we've been together
a long time.
Even before, like we doesn't have too many players over here, so you kind of know all the guys already, and then I've been playing with the most of them at some point, so I kind of know all the guys, and we have the same staff, and I would say kind of same style on the ice what we've been doing lately. So I would say it's a good thing for us, like we already know what to do out there.
They score! Kaapo Kakko was in the neighborhood.
And while Kaapo understands many Kraken fans will be rooting for Team USA, he's also hopeful that they give Finland some love too.
I hope so. I mean, we have good fans here, and I hope they're gonna rooting for me and Tolvi.
More to come on kraken-home-ice. We're talking to head coach Lane Lambert about his players' first NHL goals and going down memory lane to his playing days. And in this week's shootout, the players reveal who's the biggest jokester among them.
The Kraken players tend to be jokesters, especially with how much time they spend with each other during the season. In this week's shootout, we asked the players who they think is the funniest teammate.
Ooh, funniest, probably Mahura.
Who's our funniest teammate? Maybe Adam Larson. Schwartz.
Mahura.
Jaden Schwartz.
Lars.
Funniest? Schwartzy. Funniest teammate is Mahura. Makes me laugh.
Funniest teammate would be Schwartz.
Tolvanen.
Schwartzy.
Schwartzy.
What we're seeing with the Kraken right now is the product of a team on the same page. We talked to head coach Lane Lambert about the recent success and asked him if that was a result of coaching and messaging or players finding a role on their team.
I think it's the players. You know, the players have taken ownership. You know, obviously we've been giving them a message since day one, and we've had some guys come in and contribute in certain areas. The roles are being a little bit more defined now. As we go along, I've always said, you know, coming in new takes a few games, 20 games or whatever, to kind of understand where everybody really fits in, and I think we've kind of done that. But the players have taken ownership of their roles, and you know, everybody's contributing and everybody's cheering for each other.
You know, you've said in the past that everything kind of starts with good goaltending, and that's what you're getting. Philip Grubauer has kind of turned things around a little bit. You know, it's kind of like he's second in the NHL in goals against average. Set a career high with 41 saves against Calgary the other night. He credits more playing time and regular playing time as something that's been a big help for him. What are you seeing?
I had Gruby years ago in Washington, and you know, he was great then. Where he's gone and how it's gone the last season or last couple of seasons doesn't matter to me. We feel like, you know, we try to create an environment which is conducive to our goaltenders having success, whichever one it might be. And I just continue to talk about Gruby in terms of his preparation. You know, he didn't listen to any of the outside noise. He had a great summer, and he's come in, and there's no question that, you know, if you get into a bit of a rhythm, it helps. It's no different than any other player. You know, it's hard when you're playing as a backup goalie, for example, and playing once every 2 weeks. You know, our schedule's so condensed, we need all our goaltenders, and right now we've just been rotating Joey and Gruby pretty much on a nightly basis while Matt Murray's out and injured. So it's been good for all of them to, you know, for Gruby and Joey to get into that rhythm.
That's been a fun week for you as a head coach. I'm sure you see a couple of rookies get their first NHL goal, Jacob Melanson and Berkeley Catton the other night. You know, as a head coach, how much fun is it to see these guys break through and score that first goal?
Well, it's an exciting moment for sure, one that you will never forget. It only happens once. And there's not a lot of people in the big grand scheme of things in the world that can say they've scored their first NHL goal. So, you know, those two guys in particular this week did that, and you know, there was a lot of smiles on their faces, and their teammates are super supportive of them.
How much can it help a player in his development get that first goal? Because it feels like it's kind of a mental hump they have to get over as well, and you know, as much as it is a nice physical accomplishment.
Well, it certainly is a weight off your shoulders, I guess. You know, and with Berkeley, he's been doing a lot of good things. Maybe snake bit a little bit, and I have said, you know, with him, I think when he gets one, he'll get a few. And lo and behold, he scored another one in the same game. So we look forward to seeing him score many, many more. Melanson did a great job in Calgary, got his first goal. And, you know, he continues to play well in his role. He knows exactly what that is. And if that leads to, you know, some goals, great. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. He's got a role on the team.
Let's jump in a time machine, take you back to November 25th, 1983. Does that date mean anything to you?
Considering you're talking about first goals, it was probably that one. And when I say, you know, and I say you remember that first goal, I know it was against the Pittsburgh Penguins at Joe Louis Arena. So special moment for those guys this week to score those goals.
Okay, but how about you, man? Let's talk a little bit about that first goal. Like, I know Kelly Kissio was gave you the assist, but, you know, what was it like? You know, do you remember it much?
Yeah, I remember it. I remember, I felt like, and I've had conversations with Berkeley, you know, throughout this little spell, I guess you would call it. I remember that, you know, I had some chances, and it wasn't until, you know, like end of November that I finally broke through, and then I ended up scoring 20 goals that year. So I'm hoping the kid does the same thing for us.
The Kraken goaltender squad has gotten a lot of attention as of late for their precision between the pipes. Next on Kraken Home Ice, we're hearing from goalie coach Colin Zulianello. Plus, we're getting a behind-the-scenes look into what it takes to get the Climate Pledge Arena ice game ready. And we learn what makes it a one-of-a-kind rink.
The goaltending has been top-notch for the Kraken this season. Goalie coach Colin Zulianello sat down with Allison Lucan to talk about his philosophy on the position and how he manages his net-minding trio throughout the season.
There's some philosophies that have been around forever, that are still applicable, and I think that yeah, like you're looking at situations where maybe it makes more sense to be a little bit more patient on your feet, or, and the other big thing is players are so good, the game is so fast that I think, using the available tools that we have to allow our goaltenders to recognize pattern, like pattern recognition is important, to be able to read situations in play so that they can anticipate outcomes. And part of that is my job to look at the hundreds of plays and then to kind of like hone that information and give our goaltenders just one or two things that they need to focus on. One of the things is, yes, to look at shooter tendencies on the other team and specific shooters and allow our goaltenders, again, the ability to anticipate outcomes based on patterns. There's a part of the job that, has me scouting the other team's goalie and how do we be successful against them.
For now, 3 goalie tandems are rare. Talk about how you learned that was going to be the situation here, how you approached making sure all 3 were managed well. Yeah, for sure. So it was in the summer, we, myself and Jason Botterill were having, there were some conversations about, what, as every staff has, about what your roster is going to look like. And then, into September, we had a situation where we had, 3 very capable goaltenders all in, training camp, and it's a unique year. There's lots of things going on with, the Olympic break and our condensed schedule, and we play 17 games in the month of January. And so there's a lot of different factors, and I've said this a few times now, it's just like you can't, meet 3 better individuals in the game, and they're extremely professional about what they do, but they're also just really good people, and understanding how we can all still benefit from this, we can all still get better. I get their feedback a lot too. Like, awesome. Talk to them about, hey, like, are we getting enough in practice? Like, this is how I see it, but do we need more, do we need less? Like, I learned that in teaching too, is sometimes when you're vulnerable like that, you get that true, honest feedback, and then it makes the situation better.
The ice the Kraken skate on at Climate Pledge Arena is not your average frozen surface. It's actually made from rainwater. We talked to the man behind the only rainwater rink in the NHL.
We're putting what we think is the best quality of water out for the players.
From day one of Climate Pledge Arena, the promise has been sustainability, a promise that turned into innovation.
They wanted to make the facility as clean as possible on various levels, and it goes from our garbage collection, our recycling, all the way down to what can we do with our rainwater? Can we actually make that into rink water? And the answer was yes.
Climate Pledge uses a rain-to-rink system, which means rainwater from the arena's roof is collected, passed through an advanced filtration system, and then used to make and maintain the ice the Kraken players skate on, making Climate Pledge one of one, the only rink in the league made from rainwater. Ice Operations Manager Matt Karvanen has overseen it since the beginning.
It's been pretty much a great little science experiment, if you will, to do every day.
Turning rain into an NHL hockey rink is a concept that sounded strange to some at first.
There were certain people that thought I was joking.
The idea became a reality when they were figuring out the best way to make quality ice.
We went right into ice making from the get-go, and I saw a lot of undesirables that were not freezing well, so we decided to turn it over to the rain. And with the rainwater, we didn't have all of that stuff that didn't necessarily like to freeze. And we saw an immediate difference in quality of the ice.
Everybody knows we get a lot of rain in Seattle. And out in the western plaza of the arena, there's a cistern that collects that rain. That tank holds about 15,000 gallons. But to maintain the rink here, it currently needs 3,000 to 4,000 gallons every day. So even though it's Seattle, it's not rare for them to run out of rainwater.
When that happens, we do switch over to domestic. But the rest of the filtration process between the domestic side of water and the rainwater basically is the same.
As the rainwater is collected, it goes through a filtration system to get rid of any impurities.
We have to hyper filter, hyper strain everything so that we get all the particulates out of the water. And as we collect rain throughout the year, we've got construction dust, we've got pollen, so we have to clean all of that out of the water.
5 seasons later, the innovative system is not only successful, but proving sustainable.
I think it's easier on the rest of the system. It's not as harsh on our RO system, so it's a benefit to everybody.
Matt takes a lot of pride in what he's been able to make possible.
Probably because I'm the only one on the planet that is doing it.
The Kraken celebrated Pride Night this week. The game featured a specialty logo and jersey from a local tattoo artist. Up ahead on kraken-home-ice, they tell us about the inspiration behind this one-of-a-kind design. Thursday was Pride Night at Climate Pledge Arena. The artist behind the night's graphics and specialty jersey is Vegas Vecchio. Vegas created a unicorn-designed Kraken logo and combined rainbows, pride flags, and queer symbolism throughout. The font is a new part of the Pride Night jersey that hasn't been done before with a common thread jersey. Vegas designed the Gothic-style font you see in the name on the back of the jersey, the numbers, and the lettering around the arena. Vegas shares what message they hope people will take from the jersey and design.
I want people to know that it gets easier and that they have support and that they're definitely not the only ones. 'Cause that was such a big thing for me, is feeling like I have to pave the way for the first time. But yeah, I hope that people can get joy from this jersey. I hope that they feel empowered to be themselves in their most authentic and true way.
To kick off the new year, the Kraken hosted a scavenger hunt throughout the city. From West Seattle to Pier 62 to Gasworks Park to the Fisherman's Terminal, fans came to collect their very own goal light and a pair of tickets to an upcoming Kraken game. The Kraken's social media gave hints, and fans came running to claim their prize. It was a fun way to light up the new year.
So a lot of games in January 17, and so we're going to light the lamp a lot, hopefully during those games, but also it gives fans a chance to engage with us and have some fun with these lamps as we go out into the community.
While the Kraken are on the road, there is still lots happening at Climate Pledge Arena. On Tuesday and Wednesday, K-pop superstars Twice will bring the This Is For World Tour to Seattle. And on Saturday, Seattle U men's basketball is taking on the Gonzaga Bulldogs.
A busy January continues for the Kraken. They're on the road until January 19th, when they're back home to take on Pittsburgh at Climate Pledge Arena. And that'll do it for this episode of Kraken Home Ice. Thanks for looking in. We'll see you next week.